5 News at Noon starts now.
Right now at noon, school leaders in Rogers are discussing what's next after a fire damaged the district's admin building, where operations are moving temporarily. Plus, the Supreme Court clears President Trump's immigration raids, including a new Chicago operation. A breakdown of what it means and how the city's mayor is responding. But first, we begin with breaking news. Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders announced today the Arkansas National Guard will now help ICE with immigration enforcement in Arkansas. Thank you for joining us. I'm Morgan Wrigley. In total, Arkansas will provide up to 40 people to support ICE. That includes 27 Air National Guard's airmen and 13 Army National Guard soldiers. 10 guardsmen will be assigned to Fort Smith, 10 will be assigned to Fayetteville. The guardsmen will not be armed. They'll be helping with processing and transporting detainees. 5 News has a team digging more into what this means for our communities, and we'll have coverage starting on your 5 News first at 4. Well, turning now to that forecast, Danny's here with us.
Hello.
And it seems like today is probably the last day we have of this cool down before we slightly warm up.
Yeah, I was going to say it's the first or last day, I should say, of very comfortable weather. Then tomorrow's the first day of kind of that hint of summer, and then that summer really continues for us the rest of this week into next week. We'll show you what's going on right now outside your window. We're seeing plenty of that blue sky out there, a little bit of thin cloud cover, especially in northwest Arkansas. We're kind of on the northern edge, or I should say the southern edge of a little bit of a weak system moving through, but otherwise gorgeous out there. Temperatures in the mid to upper 70s, and the biggest thing is those dew points are super low, only in the low to mid 50s, so it feels incredible out there. The humidity, though, will crank up for us tomorrow. So over the next few hours, those temperatures will top out into the low 80s for northwest Arkansas, and then quickly cooling down just because of that drier air again. When there's less moisture, it's easier for it to cool down. Also easier for it to warm up, though. We'll see those temperatures down in the mid 60s by midnight. Then for the River Valley, will be in the mid 80s here, anywhere from about 85 to 86, and then quickly cooling down later this evening to the lower 70s by about midnight. Now, in terms of what to expect for us the next couple of days, starting tomorrow, we'll see some areas, especially in the River Valley, get into the 90s. While we may see a shower or two, it's going to be very spotty and pretty dry. Just the bigger story is going to be that heat. So we'll talk more about that here coming up in your full forecast. Morgan.
Thanks, Danny. And continuing our coverage of the ongoing debate over the proposed prison project in Franklin County, the Arkansas Legislature's Joint Performance Review Committee is going to meet in about an hour to talk about a complaint against the project. That meeting is set for 1 o'clock at the state capitol. Officials from the governor's office, the Board of Corrections, and Gravel and Grit, a group opposed to the prison, are all scheduled to speak. Critics of the project say it comes with unrealistic costs and unanswered questions. State Senator Brian King says he's pressed for answers from Vanner, the state's contracted project manager, and after months, he says they've agreed to meet with him and other state officials.
You have to wait months to get down to threatening. How can you trust anybody? I mean, realistically, like I said, put yourself in a homeowner or business situation, build a building with a contractor that won't answer your questions, but yet keeps sending you a bill that you're paying every month and they won't even meet with you.
Now, that meeting with Vanner and corrections leaders is still being scheduled. Meanwhile, Sarah Moore with the Arkansas Justice Reform Coalition says lawmakers should be looking at alternatives that address overcrowding. Also at the Capitol, there are plans to honor the memory of Franklin County Senator Gary Stubblefield this week. Stubblefield died last Tuesday at the age of 74. He'll lie in state at the Capitol building Thursday from 10 to 2 in the second floor rotunda, and his funeral is set for the end of this week in Franklin County. We're following new developments in the case against Grant Hardin. He's the man convicted of murder and rape in Benton County and also facing escape charges after being on the run for about 2 weeks in May. On Mondays, his attorneys filed motion requesting to suppress all statements made by Hardin in this case. The motions did not specify what he said, but argued it's up to the state to prove he knowingly made those statements. The next hearing is scheduled for the end of October. Happening today, people in Fort Smith can share their thoughts on a proposed expansion at Ebbing Air National Guard Base. That in-person hearing will be at the Fort Smith Convention Center at 5:30 tonight. The project would expand the F-35 Pilot Training Center, which is part of the Foreign Military Sales Program. The Department of the Air Force released a draft statement about possible environmental impacts of that expansion. Well, district leaders and administrative staff with Rogers Public Schools are moving to a temporary building after a fire damaged their central office over the weekend. The fire happened Saturday at the Rogers Public Schools central office. Superintendent Dr. Jeff Perry says most of the damage was to the western section of the building. Thankfully, no one was inside at the time. Dr. Perry says the fire started probably in an electrical outlet within the wall. He says daily instruction and operations will not be impacted.
We got a job to do. And we've said multiple times that our job is to serve the people within this community. Our job is to make sure that staff and students have what they need to teach and to learn. And so for us, that particular situation doesn't change any. We can do that from here, we can do it from a tent, we can do it from the central office. And so for us, we just go about our job making sure that we're taking care of folks.
Staff began the process of moving to the former technology building yesterday. The admin office remains closed, and parents and staff who need assistance are asked to contact the district by phone or email. Well, Fayetteville breaking ground on the city's newest park. The new Underwood Community Park is located on 38 acres of land west of I-49 near Dean Solomon Road. The first phase of construction will include a playground, a pickleball court, walking paths, and parking. And in Bentonville, Crystal Bridges is announcing it's expanding and it's celebrating with 2 major art donations. Olivia and Alice Walton have gifted 18 works of art by women artists. Collectors Candace and Michael Humphreys added 200 more pieces. Both of these gifts celebrate the 114 square foot expansion that will increase the museum's size by 50%. The grand opening of the expansion will be next June. Well, the Supreme Court gives the Trump administration clearance to move forward with immigration crackdowns, including in Chicago, where the government's launching Operation Midway Blitz to round up suspected illegal immigrants. Natalie Brand shares the concerns it's raising.
One day into a new immigration enforcement operation in Chicago, the Trump administration says it's targeting public safety and national security threats.
We're not out sweeping neighborhoods. We're not out looking for non-criminals. Now, if we run into a non-criminal during these operations, they're absolutely going to be taken in custody.
Operation Midway Blitz in Illinois comes as the Supreme Court has temporarily removed limits on what critics call aggressive, unconstitutional immigration roundups based on factors, including a person's apparent ethnicity. The High Court lifted a lower court's order in California that had blocked those tactics while a legal case continues.
I don't talk about pending cases before the Supreme Court. We've decided this one issue, but the case is going back down. There will be further proceedings in the court below.
Justice Sonia Sotomayor appeared on CBS Mornings. She wrote a scathing dissent calling it a misuse of the emergency docket and saying we should not have to live in a country where the government can seize anyone who looks Latino, speaks Spanish, and appears to work a low-wage job.
To community members and leaders who are worried about profiling, what do you say?
All you say is aren't racially profiling. The law says you've got to establish reasonable suspicion to detain and question somebody. And I think the men and women, ICE and Border Patrol, are doing exactly that. And I think the Supreme Court disagreed with us.
The Trump administration says it will continue to crack down on sanctuary cities. The mayor of Chicago says the city did not receive advance notice of the enhanced immigration action and remains opposed to any potential militarized enforcement. The president has not yet announced a deployment of National Guard troops to the city. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
The House Oversight Committee released hundreds more pages of records from the estate of convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. They include a message to Epstein, allegedly signed by President Trump. The president denies writing it. The message contains what looks like the outline of a woman's body. Democrats on the House Oversight Committee say the message appears in a book for Epstein's 50th birthday in 2003. The Wall Street Journal first reported on its existence back in July. Trump has sued the paper for defamation and continues to deny writing the message. Last week, women who say they were Epstein's victims spoke out on Capitol Hill, calling on the Justice Department to release all files related to Epstein. Trump has dismissed the bipartisan push for more information as a hoax by Democrats. Well, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has issued an urgent warning for Palestinians to evacuate all of Gaza City ahead of a new military push. It's an escalation from past alerts to leave parts of the city. Rami Inocencio reports from London.
High-rise after high-rise in Gaza City has been leveled by Israel. Netanyahu now says his military has knocked down at least 50 terror towers in its bid to destroy Hamas. And Israel delivered a warning, dropping leaflets from the skies ordering everyone to get out now. These demolitions are part of Israel's intensifying offensive to take control of what they say is Hamas's last stronghold. Also overnight, an explosion on the lead boat of an international aid flotilla trying to get to Gaza. The global Samud flotilla that includes Swedish activist Greta Thunberg and more than 300 other activists says one of its boats was hit by a drone while docked in Tunisia.
100% it was a drone dropping a bomb on the forward deck of our ship.
No one was injured, and it's unclear who is responsible. Tunisian authorities denied a drone was involved. And Israel's bombing of Gaza City continues. The UN now says that many families can't even evacuate, even if they wanted to. This is because of overcrowding along with cost. In Gaza City, the Hamas-run civil defense says search and rescue is happening right now with people alive under that rubble. Rami Inocencio, CBS News, London.
The United Nations has warned Israel that intensifying its offensive in a region where famine has already been declared will push civilians into an even deeper catastrophe.